So earlier I changed my channel's name from JayTheMovieGuy to Jay Slater. Well, it turns out that name makes it even harder to find my channel. But out of respect to the other JayTheMovieGuy, I'm instead going to change it again to JayTheMovieMan. I feel bad being so confusing to my loyal followers, but then again all my end of month statistics say that only 1% of the people who watch my videos are returning viewers, so I don't have any loyal followers to confuse. Heretic was written and directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods, the directors of Haunt and 65 and writers of A Quiet Place. It's about two Mormon girls who go door to door to try to convert people. But they come to the house of a man played by Hugh Grant, who locks them in and forces them to play in a bunch of debates and life-threatening challenges made to have them question their faith. First of all, Hugh Grant makes a great villain. He's a more restrained bad guy who talks in a calm, soft-spoken kind of way. You really believe that there is something more evil below the surface. It's the fear of knowing what he's capable of that makes this movie tense. And the girls also give good performances as the victims. A lot of this movie is based around theological debate. Mostly he's the one talking, but the girls also get some good comebacks in. But anyway, there is a lot of extended scenes of him lecturing them about his views on religion, which I know that sounds boring, but actually when you see them in action, are kind of interesting, even if you don't agree with them. They're pretty well written, and he's obviously spent as much time preparing for the lectures as the more deadly things, bringing out props and stuff to support his metaphors. And there's even a few good moments of comic relief that hit well and make the lectures more interesting, while breaking the tension just a little. Hugh Grant's character and his games at times resemble a less violent version of Jigsaw. Yes, it's violent enough to get the R rating, but come on. Anyway, the games are tense, which is helped by the performances, even if I was personally more interested in the debates. The phrase, less violent Saw games in between thought-provoking statements on religion and faith versus skepticism probably sounds like the most pretentious thing ever for horror. Hey, can you guess this is from A24? But honestly, it never comes across that way. In the context of the movie, it works, and it all comes out to an interesting and tense horror experience.
Now let's have some refreshments. I'll take an ice cold Coca-Cola.
I'd like a tab. Sprite, please.
Baby popcorn and candy? There. Is everybody happy? Mm-hmm. Way to go, kid.
Thanks, Mr. Crow. You really saved our day.
Now you join me at the snack bar for your favorite refreshments.
The Penguin was created by Lauren LaFranc, a writer and producer for shows like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Chuck, and Hemlock Grove, an HBO miniseries spin-off of the popular Batman villain the way he was portrayed in the most recent movie by Colin Farrell. Despite that, this has nothing that says superhero or supervillain in the traditional sense. The Penguin is just a regular-looking, deformed gangster. None of that cheesy getup that's become his most defining feature. It honestly doesn't even feel that much like a superhero show at all, more just a normal gangster TV show. If a few names were changed, it would be just that. If the Penguin was DC's version of Seven, then this is their version of The Sopranos, except darker and with a lot less humor. Even down to the TV MA rating, even though the original movie was PG-13, despite the fact that Seven needed that R rating a lot more than The Sopranos did. Although the Batman definitely still worked with that PG-13. Isn't that just how things are? All superhero movies need to be PG-13, all HBO shows need to be edgy. But whatever, the violence and language only further separate it from its Batman origins, and makes it feel more like a traditional crime drama. I'm not saying this wouldn't have worked without that rating, but it also doesn't particularly feel like a sharp contrast from the movie since that movie was still about as gritty. What really makes this show work is Colin Farrell. He's unrecognizable as the Penguin. His performance in the movie is probably what got this show greenlit, and he keeps it up here. And the writing is also interesting. It's a story of him rising in the crime world that also gives him and his characters around him a sense of humanity. It also gives him a good rival to serve as a villain. HBO brings DC into the realm of prestige crime drama, and it works. DC and Max or HBO, whatever, may not put out as many shows as Marvel and Disney+, but when they do, so far they put out stuff that puts most of the Marvel stuff to shame. and this is just another case of that. The best superhero or superhero adjacent show of the year despite having no superheroes.